He's paying the price for taking the lead. Progressives, who frankly hate him, are holding protests outside Tesla dealerships all around the country. They're trying to ruin his business. Charging stations have been vandalized and burned. Demand for Tesla cars in Europe plunged after Elon tried to influence politics over there. The stock prices plummeted, costing Musk personally $132 billion.
I hate what they're doing to this guy. I'm going to go out. A friend of mine has a Tesla. I've driven it. I loved it. It's a great car. And I just frankly want to support someone who's given up an awful lot to help our president.
If you guys will join me, just to push back, can we all buy a Tesla? Let's all go buy a Tesla.
People ought to be kissing the feet of Elon Musk and Donald Trump for being the two people to actually do this.
He is going to be viewing a Tesla that is making its way to the White House complex now, I can confirm. Perhaps the press pool today will have an opportunity to witness this very exciting moment later this afternoon. But Tesla is on its way here now, and we'll see if the president likes it when he checks it out.
Well, it seems like Elon Musk is finally starting to feel the heat, so much so that Donald Trump and Fox News are now love-bombing him to boost his spirits and to try to counter the Tesla boycott that's caused his company's shares to plummet by 15%, which has also cost Musk himself billions of dollars. Hey, Elon, my heart goes out to you, bud. You know, it's almost like coming out as a Nazi and endorsing a neo-Nazi party in Germany and cozying up to white supremacists and attacking Social Security and firing veterans and illegally destroying our federal government is bad for business. And ironically, he bought himself this job in Trump's administration to hollow out the agencies that were regulating his company so he could increase profits. So if the backlash to DOGE ends up costing him more money in the end, that, my friends, would be beautifully poetic. Fuck around and find out, as they say. But Trump apparently feels so bad for Elon Musk that he's seemingly trying to convince us that it is illegal to not buy Teslas. And I say this because on Truth Social, he praised Elon Musk and addressed the backlash that he's receiving while claiming that the left is trying to, quote, illegally boycott Tesla to do harm to Elon Musk. And to that I say, yeah, that's kind of the point of a boycott, is it not? An economic boycott is protected speech under the First Amendment, yet Donald Trump is claiming that it's illegal when it's not. Now, does this mean that he might actually try to criminalize boycotts against Tesla? I mean, that's possible, because he already said that he's going to designate vandalism and destruction of property at Tesla dealerships as domestic terrorism. So I don't think it's necessarily absurd to think that he'd try to criminalize peaceful protests against Musk as well. And I mean, 38 states already have anti-BDS laws on the books, so if American citizens already don't have the right to boycott a foreign government, it's not a stretch to think that they could soon also lose the right to boycott corporations too. On top of that, Musk is literally suing corporations like Lego and Nestle for not buying ads on Twitter, and he's accused them of an advertising boycott when that wouldn't be illegal even if that's what they were doing. This is how the free market works, and I feel like capitalists, of all people, should know that. Right? I shouldn't have to explain this to them. They should know that. Regardless, Trump doesn't think that Americans have the right to protest with their wallets, so he is lashing out. And on top of that, he's also coddling Elon Musk by buying a Tesla to boost his morale.
Hello, President Trump. Are you looking to buy or lease today?
Well, I'm going to buy. And I'm going to buy because, number one, it's a great product, as good as it gets. And number two, because this man has devoted his energy and his life to doing this. I think he's been treated very unfairly by a very small group of people. There's nobody like this, and he shouldn't be penalized. And when I watched the other day, I said, I can't believe it. It should be the opposite. People should be going wild, and they love the product, but because he's finding all sorts of terrible things that have taken place against our country, they want to penalize him in an economic sense, and I just think that's very unfair.
Well, too fucking bad. But how pathetic is it that the president of the United States is performatively buying a car he's not even going to drive just to boost the ego of the world's richest man? Everyone's been so mean to Elon, but he's a good boy. He's a very good boy. And to reward him for being a good boy, I'm going to buy one of his cars from him. It is embarrassing. It is so pathetic. Turns out the fuck your feelings crowd were the biggest snowflakes all along. And let's not pretend, by the way, that this isn't disgustingly corrupt. The president is basically doing an ad read for the biggest donor to his campaign. It feels like a new low, even for the United States. But they should be thankful that most people are only calling for people to not buy Tesla, because there are others who are protesting at Tesla dealerships around the country to make sure that people can't buy them because they can't sell them. For example, protesters in Manhattan shut down a Tesla dealership by occupying showrooms, leading to 6 of them being arrested. And in Chicago, another massive protest broke out in front of a Tesla dealership where people were chanting, "Launch Musk to Mars," "Fuck Musk," and "Democracy dies with DOGE." And at these protests, people were drawing Hitler mustaches on Elon Musk masks that they made while sig-heiling, just to inform customers that this is the person that they're supporting if they buy from Tesla. Not to mention, an army of cops were pictured outside of a Tesla dealership in Chicago, which I'm assuming isn't very inviting to potential customers, but they're increasingly having to dedicate more time, personnel, and resources to protecting Tesla dealerships because of the backlash to Elon Musk. Case in point.
Thank God the police are here to protect the Cybertruck. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 cops to protect one Cybertruck. Amazing.
Your tax dollars in action. But to be fair, these cops were just doing their jobs, obviously, which, to be clear, is to serve and protect private property, not people. Now, the bootlickers at Fox and Friends, they decided to react to the Tesla dealership protests taking place by throwing a pity party for Elon Musk. And I've got to say, this is pathetic, even for Fox News.
I think it's totally okay. The president is overseeing what Elon Musk is doing. And then you got cabinet members that oversee their own organizations, and they have strong opinions as well. So you need these guys to duke it out, and then the president to make the final decision.
Right. There's no doubt about it. Elon Musk is paying a big price with his, he's now in the middle of the fray. And as he was saying over the weekend, he goes, they are doing to me what they do to Trump. They are using the media to try to put the narrative together to make me seem like a Nazi sympathizer. And he says he's really concerned about people listening to this nonstop and fake news about him and his approach, and someone's going to try to kill him. And what they're trying to do is hurt him in his businesses. And they're actually training, we want clear air. We don't want Musk here or something. You idiots. It's an electric car. It's your best bet for clean air. And now they have to worry about his charging stations.
Well, from my understanding,
because there's all this type of Nazi stuff spray painted on.
From my understanding, Brian, they had to deputize. He uses a security company called Gavin DeBecker, famous security organization. They have a lot of former military operators that work there. But the Trump administration, the U.S. Marshal Service, which they do sometimes, had to deputize his security detail to protect him now, so they can have more authority, like the federal government, to travel with their firearms everywhere.
Well, and
it shows you the threat.
Elon says it's the most American-made car out there. Most every part of the Tesla is American-made, or the majority of it, more so than any other car, he says, in our own country.
They're putting North Korean state propaganda to shame. First of all, the media isn't doing anything to make it seem like Elon Musk is a Nazi. He's doing that all by himself. The media didn't make Elon Musk Sig Heil. The media didn't make Elon Musk endorse a neo-Nazi party in Germany. The media didn't make him agree with the white nationalists who blamed Jewish people for importing immigrants who hate white people. People think he's a Nazi because he has repeatedly demonstrated his sympathy for white supremacy and Nazism. And for him, being a climate hero doesn't really make a difference. I mean, they say that he's a climate hero because his company manufactures electric vehicles, so I guess that the left is supposed to worship him. But first and foremost, that's horseshit, as Mother Jones puts it. He not only emits more CO2 emissions in a month from his private jet than families emit for an entire year, he also props up climate deniers, so he's no climate hero. But that doesn't even matter. Even if he was a climate hero, progressives aren't required to worship him because he owns a fucking electric car company. Are you serious? By the way, that's our company. Our tax dollars subsidize all of his corporations, and his employees made that wealth for him, and he stole it from them. He didn't do anything. Billionaires don't make shit. And even if his own emissions were a net zero, guess what? We're still allowed to criticize him and hate him for being a Nazi, since that ideology is notoriously genocidal and evil. But I love how we're supposed to believe that the richest man in the world, who has unprecedented power, is a victim because people are being mean to him. They're protesting him. Sure thing. We're all weeping for Elon Musk, I can assure you. I'm playing the world's smallest violin right now. You just can't see it. It's super small. But as bad as the protests might be for business, I'm sure that even that's preferable to the increased vandalism against Tesla dealerships and vehicles that's becoming increasingly common, because that right there is something that is really going to make the brand toxic. A boycott or a protest, that's temporary. But being embarrassed to drive a Tesla, or not wanting to ever buy a Tesla, or wanting to get rid of a Tesla because, you're worried that somebody might vandalize it, that is something that does long-term damage to a company. And that is becoming a big problem for Tesla. And to show you what I mean, here's just a small compilation from local news reports who've been tracking these occurrences across the country, and they're happening a lot.
Tesla's stock was hit hard with its steepest drop in 5 years. CEO Elon Musk's controversial role in the White House causing fallout for the company.
And for some who drive Teslas as well.
And I look and I see in giant white spray painted letters, F Elon.
Richard's Body Shop in Albany Park has handled about 3 cases involving these specific electric vehicles being vandalized.
This video taken in Chicago that shows a white Chevy hitting the bumper, backing up and then accelerating again.
The destruction of property here at the Tesla Center in Salem is only one example in a pattern of vandalism against Teslas across the nation.
This is only the most recent incident. It's actually the 5th time in the last 5 weeks this dealership has been targeted.
Police say surveillance images from the dealership shows Adam Matthew Lansky throwing Molotov cocktails at the dealership, sparking fires. In a separate incident, police alleged that Lansky fired several rounds into the dealership and at least one vehicle.
And driving a Tesla went from, a cool thing to do to not a cool thing pretty quickly.
This amidst a string of anti-Tesla vandalism reports across the country. Colorado police report that several vehicles were vandalized with graffiti at a Tesla dealership. A female suspect was later found with explosives at the same location. Over in California, several Tesla owners say they received flyers encouraging them to sell their cars or face consequences. And Monday, in Massachusetts, these Tesla charging stations were set on fire. Investigators believe it was intentional.
Since President Trump's inauguration, Tesla has been under increasing pressure. Over the weekend in downtown, demonstrators gathered outside a showroom on Rush Street to protest Elon Musk's involvement in federal cuts through the Department of Government Efficiency. While this remained peaceful, it was a different story in Seattle, where several Cybertrucks were set on fire last night.
Yeah, so when that's the alternative, I think that Donald Trump and Elon Musk should be thankful that some people are only choosing to peacefully resist through boycotts and protests. And to be clear, I'm not showing you these clips to promote vandalism. I would never support property damage. No way, not ever. So don't do it. I'm also beaming some additional thoughts into the minds of my viewers so that way they know how strongly I feel about property damage. But the point in showing you these videos is to demonstrate how backlash inevitably manifests in numerous ways, whether you like it or not. As Martin Luther King Jr. put it, riots are the language of the unheard. It wasn't a justification for political violence. It was an explanation as to why it occurs. Americans don't like getting crushed by the boot of billionaire robber barons. Well, at least most Americans don't like that. Not to kink shame any Republicans who may be watching, but my point is that if you inflict pain and suffering on people through policy, they are going to rebel. That's what has happened since the beginning of time. Whenever a king or some dictator does this, there is always blowback. This is not anything new, and Elon Musk has shown no signs of slowing down, so that would lead me to believe that the backlash is probably going to continue if I had to guess. In fact, in an interview with Larry Kudlow on Fox News, he once again signaled his intent to cut Social Security, which, spoiler alert, is going to piss off a lot of people.
So the waste report in entitlement spending, which is which is most of the federal spending is entitlements. That's like the big one to eliminate, because that's the sort of $500 billion, maybe $700 billion a year. That is also a mechanism by which the Democrats attract and retain illegal immigrants by essentially paying them to come here, and then turning them into voters.
Yes.
So this is why the Democrats are so upset about the situation, because they're losing. If we turn off this gigantic money magnet for illegal immigrants, then they will leave and they'll lose voters.
He's talking about cutting so-called entitlements like Medicare and Social Security. And the reason why they're called entitlements is because we are literally entitled to them. These are programs that we pay into our entire lives. This program, Social Security in particular, keeps 22 million Americans out of poverty every single year, including 16 million elderly Americans. And Elon Musk, who gets $8 million a day from the government through subsidies that we fund with our tax dollars, wants to take that money away from us. That is our money, okay? Not his money. He can't touch it. It's ours. And the fact that he's saying he wants to take away what is owed to us, that is going to lead to people being very angry. So this is why people are pissed off. They do things to antagonize people. They fuck people over, and then they cry victim when people respond by protesting or doing things that lose him money. But it's not just the brazenly illegal nature of DOGE and the Nazism and the misinformation his social media platform spreads. It's the fact that his actions are now materially hurting people. That is why the backlash is so severe. Actions have consequences. If you touch a stove, you shouldn't be surprised if you get burned. But as you can see, right-wing propagandists are working overtime to do propaganda on his behalf to make it seem like he altruistically martyred his own companies just to save the country. What a good guy. But in actuality, we all can see that he's a greedy prick who's destroying our government for personal gain. But make no mistake about it, Elon Musk is not a victim. Trump scolding people being mean to him and Fox News running propaganda pieces for him isn't going to convince people that Elon Musk is a victim. He's not a victim because people don't want to buy his shitty cars. Nobody believes that, and you're not going to convince us of that. Nor are you going to make anyone feel sorry for him. This is the richest man on the planet. I think he's going to be just fine. But listen, we didn't ask for Elon Musk to be our unelected shadow president. We didn't ask for Elon Musk to buy an entire social media company to poison American discourse. He chose to do these things on his own volition. He chose to make himself the face of late-stage capitalism. We didn't ask for any of this. He imposed himself on all of us without our consent and inserts himself into virtually every aspect of American life. And as much as I hate every other CEO, none of them do what Elon Musk does to this extent. Most of them buy politicians and then hide. Elon Musk buys politicians and then pretends like he's virtuous for buying politicians to benefit his own companies. Like, most people don't even know the names of the pricks and prickettes that run the Fortune 500 companies. So if you're going to put your face out there, then don't be surprised if people are going to start to hate you. And quite frankly, I think that I speak for most Americans when I say we're tired of looking at his dumb fucking face. But he refuses to take the hint. He sees the backlash and he thinks that whining and crying is going to make us like him more. He actually believes that he's funny and likable and cute, and he can't fathom why people would like him less the more they see of him. But Elon, since you can't take the hint, let me spell it out for you as clearly as I possibly can. We don't fucking like you. We hate you. I don't care if that hurts your feelings. Spare me the crocodile tears. Go away, and I am certain the backlash will die down. Otherwise, shut the fuck up, because if you're going to be present, and if the Republican Party and Fox News is going to continue to shove you down our throats, we're going to continue to hate you, and the backlash is going to continue to build.
Luigi, not happy.